Well, we could deliver, or we could get more projects over the FID line, obviously, to actually move into that deployment, because volume is going to make a significant difference to cost on that capex piece. We all know economies of scale just bring a whole bunch of benefits. We get costs down. Also, there's a lot of engineering work going on, I'm noticing at the moment, where companies are modularizing technologies as much as possible so they can get more repeat units, and they're able to, more of the same. We're no longer doing first of a kind. Every time we build a project, there's a lot more modularization, simplification of certain elements of the supply chain. I know Daniel's going to talk about ready to stack later, which we see as a key part of that. So I think that's, what's one of the key things that we can do as potentially as an industry is how can we make those projects more simple and working across the EPC chain as well as the technology OEM chain. We can also make things cheaper. Can we get that OPEX cost down? We know that the OPEX is a big part of the cost of hydrogen, and there's lots of innovation going on there. Thinner membranes, more active catalysts may come into play, and the ability to operate at higher current density can influence capex as well. The challenge with new materials, though, of course, is if you have a new membrane, suddenly the clock starts ticking again on that reference project. What are we actually looking at? And from my understanding is that banks are looking right in the detail of the supply chain to show where that reference and that reliability and that track record exists. So how do we get those reference projects if we're always chasing new innovations? And we might just have to stop and say, right, this is what we've got. This is the price of it. Let's move on and get some projects underway. But the other thing I think is particularly exciting, it's not technically exciting, but it's commercially exciting, is there's a lot of innovation really in the business model. You see OEMs starting to think, well, do I really want to sell machines or do I want to sell molecules? And that machines or molecules balance really depends on the size of your balance sheet, I think. But if you have the ability to manage your own internal costs in a way where you're not looking to necessarily charge a premium or a massive premium or required profit, then maybe you can actually make and sell those molecules at a price that's more acceptable. So you ended up supplying, as I heard last week, one business said, my business is selling hydrogen, really high purity green hydrogen at 30 bar, right? They are definitely a molecules business. Very, very different perspective when you're sitting there at that end of the chain when they get molecules of your product rather than the technology. So there's, right across the piece, there's things that are being done and we can do.